Subscribe my channel and press bell icon to get all notification.
Hello students, now we will discuss about nutrition in bacteria. So after discussion about the respiration, we will discuss about nutrition. This is the another metabolic activity, nutrition in bacteria. So when we talk about the nutrition, we we will discuss that how or by which mode the bacteria take their nourishment. So here for the nutrition in the bacteria, there are two types of nutrition are found. The first one is the autotrophic nutrition, and the another type of nutrition that are found in the bacteria is the heterotrophic. So autotrophic and heterotrophic, these two type of nutritions are found into the bacteria. This autotrophic nutrition, first we will discuss about the autotrophic nutrition, then we will take the heterotrophic nutrition. Auto means self, that is the same nutrition by which we discuss in the case of plants. This is the nutrition in which the bacteria are able to prepare their food. यहाँ पे bacteria अपना food खुद prepare कर सकते हैं, उस तरीके की nutrition को हम बोलेंगे autotrophic nutrition. This autotrophic nutrition can be further divided into the two types. इस न्यूट्रिशन को हम फर्दर टू टाइप्स में डिवाइड करेंगे. द फर्स्ट दैट type of nutrition, that is photo, first type of bacteria which do autotrophic nutrition, they are photoautotrophs. Photoautotrophs, these are the bacteria which do photosynthesis with the help of sunlight, so we call them photoautotrophs. Another type of bacteria which show the autotrophic nutrition, they are chemoautotrophs. So these are the two types of the bacteria on the basis of the sources of energy by which they do their photosynthesis, by which they prepare their food, we can say. So यहाँ पे किस basis पे, किस energy source को use करके food को prepare कर रहे हैं, उस basis पे we have two types of bacteria, photoautotroph and chemoautotroph. In the case of photoautotroph, photo means light. Here the sunlight is used as an energy source. And in the chemoautotroph, the some chemicals other than sunlight, यहाँ पे sunlight की requirement नहीं होती, the some chemicals are used to provide the energy for the photosynthesis. So we will discuss the photoautotroph first. Photoautotrophs are the bacteria in which the sunlight is required for the photosynthesis. तो यहाँ पे sunlight की presence में photosynthesis होगा, and sunlight है, then naturally there should be present some pigments also. तो कुछ pigments की भी requirement होगी. The pigment which are found into the bacteria for this photosynthesis, the pigments are bacteriochlorophyll. Bacteriochlorophyll, like plant, bacteria also have their pigments, and the name of this pigment is bacteriochlorophyll. Besides bacteriochlorophyll, bacterioviridin also. Bacterioviridin can be found. Some another also are there. So these are some pigments which are found into the bacteria which help them to photosynthesis, bacteriochlorophyll and bacterioviridin. So these are the autotrophic bacteria which do photosynthesis. When we talk about the photosynthesis, we know photosynthesis is the process in which if we talk about in the case of plants, अगर हम plant में बात कर रहे हैं photosynthesis की, जिसमें क्या होता है, the CO2, carbon dioxide and water, it get mixed and they prepare by this process the glucose C6H12O6. This glucose is prepared and the oxygen is eliminated. Here sunlight is required and chlorophyll is required for this process. This is the process of photosynthesis in the case of plants. Here we know that carbon dioxide and water, they combine together and this carbon dioxide gets reduced. It gets reduced into the glucose, into the carbohydrate. And for this reduction, the reducing power is given by this hydrogen. This hydrogen, the water which gives hydrogen, this hydrogen gives the reducing power to convert this carbon dioxide into the carbohydrate, into the glucose. And the oxygen which is present with the water, when water gets splitted, this oxygen is eliminated and this oxygen is eliminated or released out by the photosynthesis as a byproduct, क्योंकि oxygen की plants को कोई requirement नहीं है. So this is the process of photosynthesis in the case of plants. This type of photosynthesis is known as oxygenic photosynthesis. इस तरीके के फोटोसिंथेसिस को हम बोलेंगे ऑक्सीजेनिक फोटोसिंथेसिस, इन विच द ऑक्सीजन is released out. This is oxygenic photosynthesis in which the oxygen is released out. But in the case of bacteria, अगर हम bacteria की बात करें, in the case of bacteria, here the water is not used as a photosynthesis, that is not used as a reducing agent. यहाँ पे water जो है वो as a reducing agent use नहीं किया जाता. Besides water, some another substances, some another materials can be used, some other chemicals can be used to provide the energy, to provide the reducing power. So in the case of bacteria, if we say that in the case of bacteria, the photosynthesis which happens is like some in this way. Carbon dioxide, that is the same thing. Carbon dioxide is then H2S, and then here that sunlight and the chlorophyll, the pigments that are present in the bacteria, the pigments are required, and then same thing, that is glucose is prepared, that is C6H12O6. Glucose will prepare in this reaction, and here in place of oxygen, as here oxygen is not present, so in place of oxygen the sulfur is reduced or sulfur is released out as a byproduct. So in this type of photosynthesis where oxygen is not eliminated, this type of photosynthesis is known as anoxygenic photosynthesis. And oxygenic photosynthesis. So we can say in the case of plants where the photosynthesis is oxygenic, but in the case of bacteria, the photosynthesis anoxygenic photosynthesis where oxygen is not get eliminated by photosynthesis. So this is about the photoautotrophs. The second category of autotrophs are the chemoautotrophs. Chemoautotrophs are the bacteria where the chemicals are used to provide energy. यहाँ पे chemicals को use करते हुए, energy use करते हुए photosynthesis होगा. उस तरीके के photosynthesis को हम बोल रहे हैं, और उस तरीके के bacteria को हम बोल रहे हैं chemoautotrophs. The example of such type of chemoautotrophs are nitrifying bacteria. Nitrifying bacteria are the chemoautotrophs. What these bacteria do? These bacteria convert ammonia into the nitrite and then nitrate. They convert the ammonia into the nitrite and then nitrate, and then provide this to the plant. The example of such kind of nitrifying bacteria which do this reaction, conversion of ammonia into the nitrite and nitrate, such kind of nitrifying bacteria are Nitrosomonas, and Nitrococcus. These are the example of nitrifying bacteria which are included under the category of chemoautotrophs. Nitrococcus. So these are the nitrifying bacteria, chemoautotrophs. Besides these nitrifying bacteria, we can include the iron bacteria here also, which use iron as an energy source to provide the food for the photosynthesis. So these are some bacteria which use chemical substances to provide energy during photosynthesis. Now we will discuss about this heterotrophs or heterotrophic nutrition into the bacteria. Now heterotrophic nutrition, on the basis of this nutrition where the bacteria are not able to form their food, they are dependent on some another sources for their food. Such type of nutrition is known as heterotrophic nutrition. This type of nutrition has some types also. So we will discuss this heterotrophic nutrition. The first type of the heterotrophic nutrition that is found in the case of bacteria is the saprophytic. Or saprophytes. We like saprophytes. So saprophytes are the bacteria which depend on dead and decaying organic matter. So in these cases, the bacteria are not preparing their food. They are dependent on the dead and decaying matter for their food requirement. So here, dead and decaying matter is used as a food material or to get the energy. Such kind of bacteria are known as saprophytes, which depend on dead and decaying matter for their food. Second type of heterotrophic nutrition is symbiotic nutrition. Symbiotic. Bacteria can obtain their nutrition by symbiotic mode of nutrition also. In the symbiotic where the mutual association of two organisms, जहाँ पे दो ऑर्गेनिज्म एक दूसरे के साथ बेनिफिट्स में रहते हैं, एक दूसरे को म्यूचुअली एसोसिएट करते हैं टू गेट बेनिफिट, दोनों को ही बेनिफिट होगा, बैक्टीरिया को भी होगा एंड द organism on which they are related, on which they are dependent, they also get benefited. Such type of nutrition is known as symbiotic nutrition. यहाँ पे हम example ले, अगर we discuss the example, the best example that we all know that is the rhizobium bacteria. The rhizobium bacteria, which is found into the and the symbiotic association of rhizobium bacteria and leguminous plants. So this is the example of symbiotic association where rhizobium bacteria is dependent on the leguminous plants for its shelter, water, and all food, etc. But leguminous plants also get benefit from this bacteria. It provides environmental nitrogen to the plant. So both of these two get benefited with each other. Such kind of example we can include E. coli also. E. coli, which is found, another example, E. coli, which is found into the human intestine, where it also help into the formation of vitamins and helps in the digestion. So this is also a symbiotic association. The third type of heterotrophic nutrition that is found into the case of bacteria is parasite bacteria. The parasite bacteria, this type of bacteria are these are the disease causing bacteria. ये वो bacteria होते हैं जो disease cause करते हैं. The parasites depend on one organism and the organism on which they depend is known as host. Host के ऊपर dependent रहते हैं parasite. So on the basis of this we can say that these are mainly the disease causing bacteria where they cause the harm to the host. यहाँ पे ये host को harm ही cause करते हैं parasites में. The example of such kind of parasite we can say Vibrio cholerae. This is the cholerae, which is the bacteria. It's a disease causing bacteria which cause a disease into the host. These type of parasites can be also endoparasite or exoparasite. Endoparasites are the parasite which remains inside the host body, whereas exoparasites remain on the upper side of the host body. They do not present inside. They present just outside on the surface of the host body. So these are the three types of heterotrophic nutrition which are found into the bacteria: saprophytes, symbiotic, and parasite. These are the three types of bacteria on the basis of their nutrition. So here in this video we discussed about the nutrition. In the next video we will discuss the next life process, which is reproduction. So keep watching, keep studying, and keep learning. Thank you.